The world is changing. Power is shifting. The old order that has dominated global politics and economics for decades is being challenged in ways we've never seen before. At the heart of this transformation is a powerful alliance, BRICS. This group of nations is not just making headlines, they're rewriting the rules of the global game. BRICS stands for Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. Each country brings its own unique strengths, cultures, and ambitions to the table, forming a coalition that is as diverse as it is influential. Think of these 5 countries as the starting lineup of a new economic team, one that's determined to make its mark on the world stage. They are large, they are influential, and they are determined to challenge the old rules of global trade and finance. Their economies are among the fastest growing, and their voices are getting louder in international debates. BRICS nations are home to over 3 billion people. That's almost half the planet. Imagine the energy, creativity, and potential that comes from such a massive population. These countries are rich in natural resources, oil, minerals, fertile land, and they're harnessing these assets to fuel their growth. Their factories, farms, and tech hubs are buzzing with activity, driving innovation and development. United by a shared vision, BRICS is more than just an economic bloc. It's a force to be reckoned with, determined to shape a new future for themselves and for the world. BRICS wants to create a fairer world, one where developing nations have a bigger say. They're pushing for reforms in global institutions, so that voices from the global south are finally heard. No longer content to follow the lead of Western powers, BRICS members are forging their own path. They're building new alliances, setting their own agendas, and inspiring others to do the same. They are creating their own banks, their own trading systems, and their own rules. The new development bank, for example, is funding projects that traditional Western institutions might overlook. This bold approach has caught the attention of many countries in Africa, including Kenya, a nation with big ambitions of its own, eager to find new partners and opportunities in a rapidly changing world. Kenya is making a bold move, one that could redefine its place on the global stage and reshape its future for generations to come. President William Ruto is seriously considering joining BRICS, the powerful bloc of emerging economies that includes Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. This is a clear signal that Kenya is no longer satisfied with the status quo and is ready to chart a new course in its foreign policy. For decades, Kenya has been a close ally of the West, particularly the United States and Europe, relying on these relationships for trade, aid, and diplomatic support. But President Ruto believes it's time for Kenya to diversify its partnerships and explore new opportunities beyond its traditional allies, seeking to reduce dependency and increase resilience. We see BRICS as a platform for engagement with the world's fastest-growing economies, he recently stated, emphasizing the potential for new investments, technology transfers, and stronger South-South cooperation. This potential shift in allegiance has sparked debate both inside and outside Kenya, with politicians, business leaders, and ordinary citizens weighing the possible benefits and risks. Some see it as a risky gamble, a move away from dependable partners who have supported Kenya for decades, raising concerns about economic stability and diplomatic fallout. Others view it as a sign of Kenya's growing confidence and its desire to take control of its own destiny, believing that new alliances could unlock untapped potential and create fresh opportunities for the country's youth and entrepreneurs. One thing is certain, Kenya's interest in BRICS is a sign of the times, reflecting a broader shift as many African nations seek to assert themselves and find new partners in a rapidly changing world. It shows that the old world order is being challenged and new alliances are being formed, as Kenya looks to the future with ambition and a willingness to embrace change. Kenya's interest in BRICS is driven in part by its close ties with China. China has become a major investor in Kenya in recent years, pouring billions of dollars into infrastructure projects like roads, railways, and ports. This relationship has brought tangible benefits to Kenya, boosting its economy and creating jobs. Trade between the two countries is booming. In the first quarter of 2025 alone, trade between China and Kenya surged by nearly 12% to reach $2.2 billion. China is now Kenya's largest trading partner, and this relationship is only getting stronger. President Ruto sees this partnership as a model for what Kenya can achieve with other BRICS members. He's particularly interested in attracting Chinese technology and investment to help Kenya build up its manufacturing sector. The dream is to transform Kenya from an exporter of raw materials to a producer of high-value goods. So what does Kenya hope to gain from joining BRICS? The answer is simple: opportunity. BRICS represents a massive new market for Kenyan goods and services. Imagine Kenyan coffee, tea, and flowers finding their way onto the shelves of shops across India, Brazil, and Russia. Membership in BRICS could open doors to these markets and many others, boosting Kenya's exports and creating new jobs. Beyond trade, Kenya sees BRICS as a source of much-needed technology. China has made incredible strides in areas like renewable energy, telecommunications, and artificial intelligence. Kenya is eager to learn from China's experience and adapt its technologies to Kenyan needs. This could help Kenya address pressing challenges like climate change and food security. Joining BRICS is not without its risks. Some worry that Kenya could become too reliant on China, which already holds a significant amount of Kenyan debt. Others fear that closer ties with BRICS could strain Kenya's relationship with its traditional Western allies. There's also the question of whether BRICS can deliver on its promises. Can it really create a fairer global trading system, or will it simply become another exclusive club dominated by a few powerful nations? These are legitimate concerns that Kenya must carefully consider. The decision to join BRICS is not one to be taken lightly. It requires careful analysis of the potential benefits and risks. Kenya isn't alone in its interest in BRICS. Actually, a growing number of countries are knocking on the door, eager to join this powerful bloc. From Argentina to Algeria, nations across the global south see BRICS as a potential alternative to the Western-dominated world order. They're attracted to BRICS's message of multipolarity, its focus on South-South cooperation, and its promise of a more equitable global system. This surge in interest has really put BRICS at a crossroads. Should it expand its membership, welcoming new countries into the fold, or should it maintain its current structure, focusing on deepening cooperation among its existing members? The decision on expansion is a crucial one for BRICS, with far-reaching implications for the future of the global order. BRICS leaders are aware of the growing interest in their club, but they're treading cautiously. They haven't yet established clear criteria for membership, nor have they set a timeline for expansion. Some BRICS members are more open to expansion than others. China, for instance, has been particularly vocal in its support for expanding the bloc, seeing it as a way to increase its global influence. Others, like India, have expressed reservations, concerned that adding new members could dilute BRICS's identity and make it harder to reach consensus on key issues. BRICS is still a relatively young organization, and its members are still figuring out how to work together effectively. The decision on expansion will likely depend on how BRICS itself evolves in the coming years. Kenya's potential entry into BRICS represents a pivotal moment in the nation's history. It's a signal to the world that Kenya is ready to chart its own course, forge new partnerships, and take its place on the global stage. If successful, BRICS membership could transform Kenya's economic fortunes, opening up new markets for its goods and services, attracting much-needed investment, and accelerating its technological development. However, it's essential for Kenya to approach BRICS membership with its eyes wide open. It needs to carefully weigh the potential benefits against the risks, ensuring that it doesn't become overly reliant on any one partner. Kenya's success in BRICS will depend on its ability to leverage its strengths, negotiate favorable terms, and maintain its independence. Kenya's potential BRICS membership has implications that extend far beyond its borders. This move is not just about joining another international bloc, it represents a significant shift in how Kenya, and indeed Africa as a whole, positions itself within the global community. By considering BRICS membership, Kenya is signaling its intent to play a more active and influential role in shaping international policies and economic trends. It's part of a larger trend of African nations seeking to diversify their partnerships and assert their influence on the world stage. For decades, many African countries have relied heavily on traditional alliances with Western powers. Now, there is a growing recognition that engaging with emerging economies like those in BRICS can open up new opportunities for trade, investment, and technological collaboration. For too long, Africa has been relegated to the sidelines of global decision-making. Despite being home to over 1 billion people and vast natural resources, the continent's voice has often been overlooked in major international forums. This marginalization has limited Africa's ability to advocate for its own interests and contribute to solving global challenges. The rise of BRICS presents an opportunity for African nations to have their voices heard and to shape a more just and equitable global order. By joining forces with other emerging economies, African countries like Kenya can push for reforms in global institutions, demand fairer trade practices, and ensure that development agendas reflect the needs of the global South. Kenya's journey into the BRICS fold will be closely watched by other African nations considering a similar path. If Kenya succeeds in leveraging BRICS membership to boost its economy and strengthen its diplomatic standing, it could inspire a wave of similar moves across the continent, potentially transforming Africa's collective bargaining power. Its success or failure could influence the calculations of other countries and shape the future of Africa's relationship with BRICS. The outcome will not only affect Kenya's own development trajectory, but could also set a precedent for how African nations engage with new global alliances in the years to come. Ultimately, the rise of BRICS and the growing interest from African nations like Kenya signal a shift in the global balance of power. As more countries seek alternatives to traditional Western-led institutions, the world is witnessing the emergence of a multipolar order where influence is more widely distributed. The old order is giving way to a new one, and Africa is determined to be a key player in shaping this new world. With bold steps like Kenya's potential BRICS membership, the continent is asserting its right to define its own future and contribute meaningfully to the global community.